Are you wasting your time and money on inefficiencies in the business? Are sales down and lead conversion rates are low? Are you having problems building or maintaining inventory levels? What does it really take to win in the automotive industry?
Get the cars that make sense for your store rather than just wishing at an auction, so it gives you that better control.
With over 25 years of experience, Darrell the Wolf Steed isn't just another industry voice. He's the guy who's out there solving real problems for dealers just like you.
They'll even say in the Pacific Northwest where you're at that it's a tougher market. It's, tougher to find cars. The market's a little bit softer. And in the midst of all this, your turn doubled and your profit's up 75%.
Yes.
The truth hurts only when it should. Are you ready to hear the truths? Darrell is here to unpack the hard truths and the proven strategies that will take your dealership from struggling to soaring. And he is taking it all in the streets, with real talk, open dialogue, unfiltered conversations. This is the podcast series, Street Smarts, powered by Smart Wolf Consulting.
Welcome back to another episode of Street Smarts, powered by Smart Wolf Consulting. I am Darrell Steed, your host, and today we are going to drop some fire. So we have been hearing conversations in the last week all over the social sphere, or search media, as a good friend of mine coins it, and talking about how everyone's having the same conversation. So I saw a post from a colleague of mine, Frank Knox, over at Unique Auto Sourcing, directly alluding to this, about how he's hearing the same conversations, which oddly enough, so am I. Same conversations we heard back in the start of this year, same conversations we heard at IADA, and even last week at NAMAD, which is, how do we find more used cars? How do we create more profitability? What do we do? Where do we start? And things of that nature. Well, we're going to really focus on acquisition today. I don't have any guests on this episode, unless we get somebody that jumps in or sends me a notice, and then we will definitely get them in there, because we like to stir it up and create conversation and give people a pathway to getting better. Simply put, is we're going to focus on acquisition today, and we're going to solve some of these questions that people have been asking and give them a path to finish strong. So it's September. So we are closer to the end of the year than we are the beginning. And in 30 short days, actually in 27 short days, we will have one quarter left in the year that you have to wrap it all up, put a bow on it, and call it a finished product. Whether it be the way you wanted to finish, the way you do finish, or the way that it finishes, it's going to be done. So let's start with acquisition. How many people out there that are you doing acquisition of some sort? So we're not going to get into a full-fledged buying center, but let's say you're doing service drive acquisition. Let's say you're doing private party. Let's say you're doing third-party leads. How many of you guys out there have key performance indicators for your acquisition strategy that have nothing to do with selling a car? Let's just get to that first. And I want you guys to think about this. I'm going to type up a quick question into the chat is, what do we consider a key performance indicator? Okay. And I want everyone to really understand that performance is not results. Okay. Performance is how we get the result. So what are we tracking to get the results? So let's start with the one that everybody attributes to this, right? Which is, one second. DAR, D-A-R, daily acquisition rate. Now we're going to start some controversy. I do not believe this is a key performance indicator. Actually, I think this is a bunch of fugazi. Okay. And the reason why is daily acquisition rate is a result. It is what happens when you do all the performance indicators. It is not an actual indicator. Okay. That is the result of the indicator. So I want everyone to think about this, and I'm going to give you a clear pathway how, if you're going to start tackling acquisition with no experience, no coaching, things that you would want to look at, measure to make sure that you're successful. The first one is, how many offers are you putting out per day? Now, we can go even further. If we want to give you more meticulous about this, how many people do we contact per day? So we could say a key performance indicator is contacts made or attempts made. So we'd have how many attempts do we make? And then how many contacts we make. Those are two different indicators, because I could attempt to make contact with 50 people a day. However, contact would be easily measured by how many people actually respond with a VIN number or the information needed to give them an offer. So we're going to start with our 2 performance indicators right there is how many attempts did we make to make contact and how many people did we actually make contact. Those are the first 2, guys. Now the second ones are going to come in. Okay, we've got 2 of them. Now we're going to get to number 3. Number 3 is how many of the people we contacted did we send an offer out? Now that should be 100 over 100. If we contacted 15 people, we got the VIN, we got the information, we should be sending out 15 offers. Okay. Simply put, right? If we make contact, we offer to buy the car. So now we've got 3 indicators, right? Attempts, contacts, offers made. Now we're going to get into where we figure out how we get to this DAR, right? This Fugazi KPI, which is just a result-driven metric that we don't even know how we get there, right? And if we don't know how we get there, we can just put up any number we want, but we don't know actually how to achieve it. So now that we've got the attempts, the contacts, and the offers made, how many appointments made and confirmed, and how many show? That's it, guys. We got 5 KPIs. Now, those are the KPIs to start the acquisition process, right? And so that we're clear, everything that I'm going to go over, guys, should never have more than 5 steps, no more than 5. Okay, 5 steps. If we can't count it on one hand, there's too many steps in this process. There's your 5 KPIs, your key performance indicators. Now, when we get them to the store, right, then we might have a few KPIs we want to look at for our internal measurement. You may not. It may not matter to you. But if you were going to have those, here's the ones that I would suggest, is we'd want to know how many appraisals, complete appraisals were done. So when we go appraise every car that came in, which we should be doing, okay, is using tools like my preferred favorite would be AccuTrade, would be when we're looking at those measurements, how many of them have all the pictures necessary? How many of them have an OBD reader ran on it? How many of them have the damage assessed? So if it comes in and you're a manager and there's no damage on the car, unless this car's got 2,000 miles on it, I'm going to beg on the side of caution that your people probably didn't do their job. So we may want to have some indicators in store to it allows us to be efficient, but more importantly, be accurate, protect the money once it's in the store. Then we need to have the key performance indicators after we've bought the car. And this is why I don't really like the DAR, the daily acquisition rate, guys, is that implies that we're done. That's the result, right? Like that's where we're at. Buying the car is the middle of the process, not the end. Now, some of you guys might be thinking like, what in God's hell is he talking about? Well, once we buy the car, we still have a brand to build. We still have a consumer experience to complete, and it's not complete without reviews and testimonials. If we're just going to teach people and talk about buying cars from the KBBICOs, the car gurus, and all these other site sources and private party, but we're not building a brand to bring in additional traffic, then we're not doing anything other than creating the same hamster wheel that we've already on with the auctions, which is we just keep repeating the same motion without actually building a sustained business model to create another source of acquisition strategy, which would be just the walk-in or the referral based on your reputation and your management. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time on those KPIs, guys, because now if you watch this episode and you're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to measure, I just gave you all the things that have made and built the largest buying centers in the country, the most profitable buying centers in the country. Now, if we talk about service drive, these would have different KPIs. We're not going to focus on those KPIs particularly tonight, because that goes into a little bit more detail because that's more customized to your particular store and how you're setting that up. But when it comes to acquisition from third party, first party, and private party, and then social media engagement, those would be the KPIs you'd want to follow. Now, when it comes to acquisition, everyone's sitting there talking about like, well, it's so hard, it's so tough. You're right, you guys. You're not wrong. Okay. Congratulations. You guys have figured out making money is not easy. You guys had a couple of years where you guys basically got to do nothing and make a shit ton of money. And now you think that that's just normal. It's not. The COVID millionaires, okay, it's time for you guys to earn the money you made back then. So if you want to make more money, you're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to stop looking at everything as an expense, and you have to invest in the things that are going to make you valuable. You got to invest in your people. You got to invest in a strategy. You've got to invest in making acquisition the culture of your store, because if you can buy anything, then you have everything to sell. But if you are reactive and you only buy the things that once you need them, you're going to make bad decisions. Emotions come into play. This is an emotionless business if you want to make profits and create an experience that people want to come back to. You have to make sure that you're creating the experience a consumer wants to engage with. So when we think about that is, yes, it's tough, but you know what? If we want to make really good money, it's okay. I know this is going to sound crazy, but it is okay for us to work to earn the money we make. It's okay. I know it's crazy. I'm probably the only one that says that. Everybody else is trying to figure out how to work as little as absolutely possible and make the most amount of money. But I'm going to tell you that it's okay to put in a little bit of work, and people typically appreciate when they see you're working hard for them. Not everybody, okay? There's those people out there that wouldn't matter what you do for them. They're not going to appreciate it, but we can't worry about them. So when we think about acquisition, do you have an acquisition strategy in your store? Do you have a buying application for private party, third party, first party, social media? Do you have service drive integration? And if you're sitting there and as you watch this on live, or if you watch it on replay and you say, no, why not? What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for your store to be on life support and then you decide like, hey, maybe I should actually do something about this? Are you telling yourself it's too expensive to invest in a coach or a trainer or any type of program that's going to help you get there? Let's do this. Let's do a quick little exercise. This will be fun for everybody. I mean, when I say fun for me and probably not so fun for any of you guys that actually participate in this. Let's go look at how many cars you bought from the auction and the fees you paid this month. And let's see how much money you gave the auction in your profitability to buy cars that you could have obtained yourself for not only cheaper, but without the fees. Then tell somebody that it's too expensive, you can't afford it. I talked to one store yesterday. They bought 80 cars from the auction on average with the fees, transport, and everything else. It's about $1,200 a car. So congratulations, $96,000 just gone up in smoke of profitability. How many people could you have employed, paid, and got the same amount of cars, probably more, and brought back 50, 60, 70% of those fees into profitability for 1 month? A lot. So when we sit there and talk about an expense, right, we need to start looking at the expenses we have and start reinvesting those in something that we can have control of. When we go to the auction, guys, we're reactive. We have to buy a car. We're there. We start making panic decisions, reactive decisions. When we have an acquisition strategy in our store for private party, third party, first party, service drive, you know what we end up doing? We end up having control of our business. We can turn the throttle up and the throttle down based on how aggressive we want to be. We can create an experience that adds a level of enhancement to our business that people want to come to outside of sales and service. You become a 3-pillared department or business rather than sales and just service. Now you have acquisition. And when we talk about that, that's how we have to treat it as another brand. Do you put up a banner on the side of your building that says we service cars? Of course you don't. It's on your website. It's part of your DNA. You talk all about it. You've got advertising going to it. You treat it like its own business, separate from your sales department. So let's ask everybody out there that's running a dealership or worrying about private party acquisition or acquisition in general, why do you treat acquisition like some kind of second-rate society type of situation? It should be its own business. We should be going, instead of having 2 legs in the business, we should be creating a tripod. We should have 3. And I'd argue you should have 4, because one would create a wholesale dynamic, which would create the 4th business model of your business, which would make you almost indestructible. So when we think about acquisition, it is a tough road, guys. It's tough because we can't just click a button and buy a car. We actually have to put in work and create an experience. But now we have to go one further and say, isn't that experience worth getting the customers back? I hear this all the time too. We're losing customers. We don't know how to get them back. Customer loyalty's not as what it used to be. Well, neither is your guys' experience. Ever since COVID, when you just said, sign here, press hard, we have the car, if you don't like it, go away, our experiences went right out the window. Would you want to buy from you? I mean, be honest, just because it's your store, you don't want, I mean, you can lie to yourself, but you go look at some of these stores. Would you actually want to send your grandma, your daughter, your son into one of these stores and be like, yeah, you'll be fine. It'll be all right. I don't think many of you guys can say that the experience isn't great. How many of you guys want to send them to an experience that doesn't match what you want to experience yourself? Now, most people in the car business will say, well, that's just how the business is. It's only that way because you accept mediocrity and you don't accept in doing something different or getting better. So when I sit there and I discuss acquisition, as you guys can see, I'm extremely passionate about this, but it's because it works. I'm looking for a situation to fail at because I haven't yet, not in acquisition. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say we haven't had failures as we built stuff. We have little failures as we build anything. But by the time we get through these little failures, we have built something successful for every single client that I've worked with. The reason why is once someone realizes they have to put in some work, they get the right coaching, they get the right strategy, you know what ends up happening? They win. Because once they see they can win a little bit, they realize they can win a lot. And they stop giving all their profits to the auction. And then they start empowering their people to be able to be part of the solution rather than waiting. They're engaged rather than sitting. All the culture dynamics we say we want start with acquisition. One might say acquisition is the pathway to making you successful. So when we're sitting there talking about acquisition, guys, we need to get on top of it. And it's September. It's not too late. And 90 days from now, you guys could have a massive operation on the right track, pivoting and positioning yourself for 2026 like you have never thought you could. Not panicking when it comes into tax time, not panicking in the slow months, and noticing that your sales either stay above what they used to be or even increasing because now you have the right inventory to move it faster, to turn that inventory faster because now you're getting cars people actually want, not the stuff that everyone's giving to the auction because it hasn't moved. Now, jumping on to how acquisition can help you into that social media and that first-party leads, as you guys see behind me, you will see Street Smarts. Street Smarts has gotten better. We've gotten smarter, one might say. So I am by far the best in the country when it comes to used car acquisition and building buying centers. It's not even a close second, guys. The buying centers that I've built are more profitable. They build brands. They don't just buy cars, and they become full service acquisition strategies, not just one piece. From service drive to private party to first party to third party acquisition strategies. But now we've gotten smarter because now we've brought on social media enhancement. Now one might think, what the is it? Social media enhancement. We have brought on 2 industry experts to join this powerhouse. And what we did is we said, let's go find somebody that knows how to build engagement and branding through social media to create organic social media. We're not going to talk about paying for it yet. We'll get there. That's available, right? But organic social media engagement for both. And guys, hold on to this for a second because I'm going to tell you this was nuts. Acquisition and sales opportunities. So much so, there's a case study. Okay, and we might post the link in this so that you guys can click onto it. Went down to a store, showed them how to do some organic social media to just drive sales, just to start that conversation. Because this particular store they went down to already had a relatively good acquisition strategy. Good for them. In 2 months, they have increased over 100 cars a month in sales with organic social media engagement. No additional lead options. Just teaching their sales team on how to create a brand, an individual brand, and then anchoring the brand within the store. Now, if you're not okay with selling an extra 50 to 100 cars a month, please stop looking at this, stop talking, stop listening to it. You know what? Stop following me. Okay. If you're in the industry, if you're not in the industry and you just like seeing the show, great. But if you're not looking to grow or you don't want to grow or that like scares you, yikes. I don't know what you're in the business for. This business is meant to grow. So we got the organic. Then we brought someone in that is the best in the business, at least in my view, and everyone that I've talked to, that understands BDC, lead follow-up, and the paid social media side of it. Has the best app in the business when it comes to social media, okay, with Social Grenade. And so we created an alliance so that you could certainly reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? I need acquisition help. I'm in. Give me a call right now. Numbers going in the comments. Right? However, you might say like, well, man, now that I'm buying the cars, how do I sell these? I don't want them to get aged. That was a great question. I got it all the time. And I could give you guys some insights and I could help you get into that positioning. But at the same time, you'd have to spend more money based on things that I knew how to do. So I brought someone in that knew how to do something that I knew of, but did not be an expert of. So now we have this full service solution of social engagement organically, acquisition on every level, social media paid, BDC and lead handling follow-up so that we can engage and increase your closing ratios. So I want you to think about that just for a second, guys, when it talks about acquisition. Buy the car, get more customers, sell more cars, and close what you already have better. That's 4 things that now the Street Smart solution can now help every industry out there, everybody that's looking to do that. Now, if you're not in the auto industry, okay, well, then we have social media stuff. I don't know how many cars you would want to buy if you're in the retail business, but we do consulting in sales and we do consulting in leadership and coaching. But we primarily focus in the automobile space. And here's the simple fact, guys. There's no excuse, because all the things that have become an issue or that have become roadblocks in the business, we have a solution for. Everybody will tell you, hey, we can give you sales training, coaching, something of that nature. I mean, there's got to be about 65 people out there they're all selling that same thing in a different version. And you might like one more than the other, and you got to pick the one you like. But I can tell you there is nobody, 0 people that are delivering guaranteed acquisition strategies, organic social media engagement and branding to drive more sales, paid social and BDC and lead handling and lead closing enhancement under one strategy or one team. And you get all of us on site if you want it all at once. So instead of you having to pick and choose, you get the whole shabam if you want it. So when we think about it, guys, it's September 2025. It's just not, the year's not over. As far as I'm concerned, we just got started. We have 3 months. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. We have 4 months till the year's over. And in 4 months, man, I've seen crazy things happen. So much so, I've seen a buying center in 4 months go from buying 20 cars a month to averaging 70 or 80 cars a month, and now opening the second store as part of the buying center strategy because they're doing so well. I've seen a service drive acquisition start with 7 cars a month, go to 25 cars a month, and now is doing 65 cars a month in 4 months. How does that change your business? And like I told you guys on the social side, I've seen a store in the last month, okay? They sold 80 cars more, 90 cars more the first month from the social media engagement. And then the second month, they sold 130 cars more. And all they did was change social. That's it. So they could track it, so they would know. That's it. That's all we changed. So now we know it's a verifiable thing that this is our change and this was the results. So we have to ask ourselves, guys, it's not a tough question. What feels better for you? Sitting on the sidelines and watching people win, or getting in the game and winning for yourself? Now, make it easy. Maybe sometimes texting people or calling people, you're like, God, that feels so uncomfortable. That's okay. Listen, guys, we're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We're on, YouTube. Okay. And then eventually I will repost this in shorts. But right now we're live on all those. You can just put a comment in and say, like, how do I start? When are we going to get going? I want to win. Any of those will work. Any of those, guys. And guess what? Okay. We will make you a priority. We were at NAMAD and September. That's a wrap, kids. September sold out for this type of servicing that quickly. But October, right? Maybe a couple days in September, maybe we could fit it in. If you're really serious, I'm pretty sure that the team would probably figure out how we could somehow finagle some magic. Hell, if you're in the Nashville area, I know we can finagle some magic because we'll be speaking out there and doing a workshop out there on the 18th. So 17th, 19th, if you're one of those stores out there, just let us know because I'll make it happen. They'll make it happen. But October, yeah, we got some spots available. Spots, not the whole month, just spots. We've got a few. And then you want to get ahead of that? Let's go. We've also got virtual, so we can start. I just started one group. We started virtually. Then I'm going to get to them, okay, the last week of September because they took that spot. But we're getting stuff installed now so that by the time we get there, bing, bang, boom, they get They're already hitting the ground running and making some changes, getting that stuff going because they want to tackle this. That owner's specific words were, man, it made me so excited too. I'm jacked just thinking about it. He's like, I want to make it to where I don't need the auction anymore. And if we have to invest, we got to figure out what we have to do, what we have to invest. We've got to make that happen. But oddly enough, as soon as he said that, we had the conversation of let's make sure we do it right. So we're not going to just throw everything at it. We're going to do it crawl, walk, run so that we can make sure we do it so it sticks. Because we can do anything fast, but we want to make sure we do it effectively too. So you guys with street smarts, we're taking it to the streets. And here's the thing. I see this all the time. I even got approached about it. Felt weird. They said, hey man, do you want to write a book, your playbook, like how people can do acquisition? They can get your book and they can read it. Had like 3 conversations about it. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. I was like, because you know what? Everybody can read a book. Everybody can. There's lots of people out in the world that have a degree from reading books and don't use anything they ever learned in a book. Don't understand it. Don't know how to execute it. Don't know the practical knowledge of it. But when you learn that shit in the streets, those lessons we learned in the streets, those hard knocks lessons, okay? Growing up, rough childhood, poor, living in some not so great neighborhoods. And you learn those lessons, it's amazing how you don't lose. You figure out how to deal with adversity. You figure out how to execute. And that's where street smarts came from. We're not taking fundamental stuff that was in a book and we think we maybe possibly. No, we're bringing it to you from direct experience. Results we've gotten time and time and time again to ensure that you're successful. So we're not talking about it. We're not telling you about it. We're showing you. We're in the trenches. That's what the streets means. Getting in the trenches, going to war with you, shoulder to shoulder. Okay. And that's how I started Smart Wolf, right? Is going at it and don't worry about what people think and don't worry about what people say is right. Just make it happen. Be that lone wolf and show them that, that can happen. Then we made Street Smarts, the first ever and best online academy for acquisition. Now it's the best acquisition academy that has now added, or soon to add, I won't say it's added, it is being worked on to where we will have social media sales and organic social media engagement within the confines of that certification and online training platform. Again, something no one else is offering. No one's offering that. No one's going to give you videos and tests and weekly knowledge on these type of things. And we said, you know what, we need to do something no one's doing, but everyone keeps asking for. We built it. We came together. If you guys want to see funny stuff when we came together, okay, go watch like some of my TikToks or my partners, Robin Wilson, okay, Meet the Robs, or the GOAT for Real 216, Shawn Payne. We did our own little hangover wolf pack, right? Kind of just playing off stuff, different things, and it was a really good time. And they were teaching me all kinds of different things in social media. And guys, listen, I'm not a social media giant. I'm on social media. That's about as far as I can say as a giant. And I was learning things. So, if I'm a Gen Xer and I can learn these things and pick these things up and then consistently get better, anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. Anyone can make this happen. You have to just make that decision. And so I wanted to tell everybody it's not too late. It's Wednesday. And I know what Wednesday is. It's hump day for everybody. But it's not. Wednesday's just the middle of the week. We got 4 more days left until the end of this week. We could get it jacked up. We can get it started. We can get fired up. Hell, you know what? If you called me today, I could probably help you buy 3 to 5 cars by the end of Sunday with just a couple of tweaks. Someone that's never bought a car for private party, I could probably help you, okay? In the right situation, if you put in the work and you do all the things that we talk about on one call, I could help you buy 3 to 5 cars by the end of the week. But it does take some work. I can't do it by myself. You can't do it by yourself. It takes a team. It takes commitment. It takes an investment. And then we start growing a brand, right? We start growing a brand for you, showing you guys how to grow your own brand. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, it's the best money we ever spent. More importantly, is you start growing a brand to where you want to be. Stop relying on other people to hope to get you to where you want to be. Start taking control of your own business and get yourself to where you want to be. That is what we believe in our industry and in Street Smarts, is taking back control, taking back the experience and giving the experience, building the experience, so that if you want to grow your business, it's really on your efforts, not on what's available. I hope this was informative. I hope you guys got a little bit of something. I hope you guys learned that not to focus on the door, and to focus on the true KPIs that create actions and behaviors rather than results. We have to focus on the actions and behaviors to get results. Looking at the results and then try to work backwards to behaviors has been ineffective for years. Focus on the behaviors and actions. The results will come. And if you're looking for big results, profitable results, and growth, don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Let's get a conversation booked. Okay, I'm going to put all 3 people. I'm going to tag them in this post. I'm going to go back and I'm going to tag them in the comments. Click on any of them. Schedule a time with any of them. If you're like, you know what, I'd rather talk to that person than me, no problem. You ain't hurting any of our feelings. Okay, we all want to help you and we all want to make time for you. But at the end of the day, make time to let yourself start winning. You deserve it. You've worked hard in this business. You've worked hard. Let's not sit there and think about another month that might be okay, or we're kind of doing good. Let's stop using words like kind of, maybe, or possibly. Let's start getting to that point where we can use words like I know, we know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. We're growing every month, like to where we just know, like we can forecast it rather than we're guessing. This is another episode of Street Smarts, powered by Smart Wolf Consulting. I'm Darrell Steed, your host, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. If I don't, I hope you guys learned at least one thing today, because as long as we're helping people out, whether it turns into business, turns into relationships, turns into networking, or it just turns into helping people, that's what I'm all about. And that's the mission that we're trying to do, is to create the car business in a different light, where it's a consumer experience brand that people want to come back to rather than talk bad about. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.